What I think is interesting about the review of Tomato Red, I read it all the way through a couple of times. The reviewer isn't quite sure what to make of this book.
I know, it's a little bit confusing. You know, it is. I've been asked to explain it myself in a short, succinct manner, and it's not that.
You can't.
I have not been able to achieve that yet.
No, it is unclassifiable, both of them, I think, which is great. You're breaking new ground. What I also think is interesting is he's not real sure what he thinks about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ambivalence. I mean,
Yeah.
he loves the writing, and he cites many things, and I think that actually the ambivalence comes from not being certain what you've done.
Yes, yes.
What are you doing?
Well, what I'm trying to do is I like it to have the qualities of the music I so much admire, and I really don't like to bang a drum and say this is my point, and I have been criticized for that in the past by people who said, I don't know who I'm supposed to like here, or if I'm supposed to like any of them, and to me that's good. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to be, I'll present human beings to you and let your own heart work through who's worthy of human compassion and so forth.
Well, they're an unsettling group.
Yes.
Both the guys in Give Us a Kiss and then your protagonist, Sammy Barlick, in Tomato Red. I might mention that the title, Tomato Red, is taken from the hair color of one of your female
Yes.
lead character in Tomato Red. And I think that your publisher did a great job.
It is. It's pretty catchy.
It is. It's wonderful. Is she a henna job?
Yeah, you know, I was noticing these young women around, mostly young women. I would see bluebird blue hair. I would see, you know, Kelly green hair and everything. And then I did see like magenta hair and so forth. And I started thinking that the girl I was writing about is the type of girl who would probably go for one of those looks. So.
Well, we're in Tomato Red now, not Give Us a Kiss, but she and her brother are this kind of evil twin pair. And Sammy
Yes.
Barlick gets hooked up with them, and also their hooker mother.
Yes.
And it's this kind of group careening about.
Right, a little surrogate family.
Yeah, and real loose cannons.
Yes, yes. Well, Sammy's a reckless guy. His only ambition in life, he doesn't expect much good to come. He'd just like to feel a kinship with somebody along the way. So I think he would fall into whatever level of activity the group he was trying to bond with were into. Whatever they were up to, he'd probably go right along with it.
So in a way, they're all trying to sort of help each other move out of this little Arkansas town.
He and the brother and sister definitely are. The mother has no illusions about moving on too much.
And are they successful?
Well, I think there's this ray of hope in there in a perverse way in the end, since one of the characters is going to at least get a shot. Now, you still have to succeed with your shot at a better way of life, but at least one of the characters is getting that, and most are not going to from such circumstances. It's not going to be an everybody wins thing.
Twins have an interesting dynamic. I mean, they've obviously known each other perhaps a little better than brother and sister should.
It's hinted that maybe they did.
which is not atypical of some. I used to live in Tennessee, and there was a lot of incest back on the hollers, you know, and so I wasn't surprised. But the twist I think you give it is that the boy twin, whose name has escaped me, Jason is actually a gay hairdresser.
Yes.
So,
and he's astonishingly attractive, and his sister thinks that his looks and his talents as a hairdresser would make him an excellent escort for rich women in Palm Beach, Florida, if she could get them there.
Right. So he's their ticket out,
right.
more or less.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and Sammy's kind of relates to both of them, or to everybody actually. Mom and both twins in interesting ways. Well, it was fascinating. I have to say, just personally, that I liked Give Us a Kiss just a little bit better. I'm not sure if it's because I thought that all the pieces dovetailed together slightly more seamlessly, or whether I just loved your character, who was a literary kind of guy, or at least found that he was a literary kind of guy. If I remember, doesn't it end with him in jail thinking about
Yes, it does.
How all the great books he was going to write?
Thinking about, hey, well, we were talking earlier about doing the Shade series and Woe to Live On, and managing to escape notice by and large. And that's the position Doyle Redman was in as a writer, and he recognizes that the flamboyant crime he has committed and the attendant publicity actually has brought him his hook.
Oh, Lord, you know, what was it the other day? My husband read something to me about Monica's mother, Monica Lewinsky's mother, saying she wasn't going to let her story go for less than $10 million, and I thought, wow, you know, so you were right there on the cutting edge, right?
Yes.
with
The idea was appealing to me. I'm a big fan of 30s and 40s noir, 50s, or any era really, but for some reason I think of it as 30s and 40s. And I love these first-person voices that might take you into any kind of activity, but the ultimate ambition is to do something that you shouldn't really be doing, and now your fate and character are tested because it's the kind of activity that brings dramatic forces to bear, and I'm very, very attached to that whole stream of fiction.
And you do it excellently well. Are we going to have a chance to see our guy from Give Us a Kiss come back?
I've thought about that, actually.
I thought you'd left it open, actually, so that
I have.
you know, he could make a. You know, Jim Salas, who lucky for us now resides in Phoenix. He is. He's a wonderful writer, but you know, he does have a character that while his life is going on by us and not in any real chronological way. I mean, it kind of, you know, we move in and out. Definitely has taken to, you know, to writing novels and making literature out of all the stories that or making stories out of his experience.
I've actually got one or two things in mind for Doyle that we'll see when I get home and sit down and think more deeply. Maybe one of them will be the choice.
I sure hope so. He's just such a great character. I mean, it seems to me you're kind of done with the characters in Tomato Red, although maybe not.
Oh, no, I am. Their story has been told to my satisfaction. I'm interested in further stories about the state of Missouri, actually, because so much of our history of my family and myself comes out of there, and it's actually, again, a pretty interesting history that most people, even in the state, wouldn't know much about. So if I can find ways to dramatize that, I intend to do so.
Well, it is refreshing. There isn't a lot in crime fiction. There's not a lot written in the Ozarks or in Missouri. So
No.
you know, in a sense, you're
Well, I
presenting.
think small town and rural crime is decidedly different from big city crime. Quite often you know everyone involved or know of them or know something about them, and you can see the bones of the matter rather clearly. One of the prime impulses for Tomato Red was a series that our local newspaper ran on unsolved local murders, almost all of whom were underclass white people. The investigations, no one got a hernia trying to solve any of those. And it struck me that you think if you'd say, oh, if that was my brother, I would get out there, but you really wouldn't, because you wouldn't know where to start, really. And I very much was focusing on the idea of the sense of the larger culture that really these people are pretty disposable, and if someone is standing over them with a gun, we'll arrest them, but we're not going to spend a lot of the county funds trying to track down somebody.
Well, it sounds like you're never going to run out of material. Regrettably, we have run out of time. See how close we got in
Yes.
only 28 minutes? Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks, Daniel, very much for coming.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
It's really been a pleasure. You see, it just shot right by, and you didn't look even a little bit.